Is Loch Henry one of the least Black Mirror-y episodes ever? And is it even any good? These are the things we're going to be looking into in this video as we recap the events of the episode, and then we'll take a look if this is really a veering off of the Black Mirror that we've come to know, or if they're maybe revisiting something they've actually done before. Quick heads up, I am going to be recapping the events of the episode, so this is your spoiler warning. Let's jump in. In this episode, we follow Davis and Pia as they embark on a journey to film a movie when their plans are suddenly changed after Pia learns of a series of killings in Davis's hometown. Davis and his buddy Stuart share the details of the killings with Pia, and she is instantly convinced that this is the film they should be shooting. So without much convincing, Davis is on board and they begin filming right away. After getting a bit of footage, they approach a film producer in hopes of gaining support for the production by a platform or network. This conversation is our first bit of insight into the message of the episode, which is that society has formed a rather unhealthy relationship with true crime documentaries. Davis and Pia continue their work until they are involved in a car accident, putting Davis in the hospital and sending Pia to stay alone with Davis's mother. It's at this time when we learn the truth about the murders that took place all those years ago. Davis's father was not, in fact, a victim at all. He and his wife actually orchestrated it all and kept home movies of their killings, which Pia has now discovered, leading her to run away from Janet's home. She unfortunately takes a hard fall and dies after hitting her head on rocks in a stream. Davis's mother is seen gathering all of her murderous artifacts for her son's film and proceeds to hang herself after she believes Pia escaped and would be sharing the news with her son. In the end, the documentary is made and ends up winning awards for its popularity. Everyone is thrilled about this except, of course, Davis, who has to live out the rest of his days knowing the truth about his twisted and murderous parents. Now, many people feel that this is a far cry from the Black Mirror that we've come to know. There aren't, after all, any super crazy futuristic tech coming into play here and changing the dynamic of the story and the landscape and just pulling you into a completely different world as you watch the story unfold. But is that actually new for Black Mirror? And the answer is no. We've seen similar approaches in past episodes, such as Shut Up and Dance and the very first episode of the series, the National Anthem. So I actually enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I don't need every episode to have futuristic tech coming into play, and I appreciate that this episode highlights a present-day problem that we currently have in our society, and that is the sensationalization. Is that a word? The sensationalizing? How we sensationalize true crime documentaries. And in doing so, we're sensationalizing the killers behind them. Dahmer, for example, was a pretty recent major hit on Netflix, which led to a bunch of people glamorizing this guy, dressing up for him as Halloween. All the while, you have the people impacted by his actions pleading with people on the internet to stop sensationalizing this guy. He was a terrible person who ruined their lives. So again, I appreciated the more kind of down-to-earth, more relatable story being told here, especially right after watching Joan is Awful, which was very futuristic, hopefully very futuristic and not something we're going to be dealing with anytime soon. And then segueing into this, which is a present day problem that we have. Ultimately, for me, this episode is going to settle nicely somewhere in the middle of all the Black Mirror episodes. It's not going to be one of my favorite ever, but it's not one that I really disliked all that much. The truth is, while I said I don't need the futuristic tech stuff, I do quite enjoy the imaginative storytelling that we typically get out of those episodes, like we got in this season's Joan is Awful and in season 2's White Christmas. All right, that does it for my thoughts on Loch Henry. I'd love to hear yours, so let me know down in the comments and we'll see you in the next video.